like you're gonna get the same response every single time. You are going to get, oh, you can count on D's nuts. I can chip in D's nuts. You can count on D's critical nuts. And it's like, that's exactly what's going to happen every single time, because no, I'm not donating money to politicians. What I'm waiting for is to get the non-bot people, because, hey, guess what? I used to be one of those texters, so I can tell when it's a real person behind that message. And once I get them, I'm fucking bullfighting their sorry ass. Okay? Fucking tired of these midterm texts. They're not going to work. They're not going to work, feds, if you're listening. Okay, that's my rant. YouTube is doing the weirdest thing. When I go to the channel, it shows the live stream in the middle of the page. Just, yeah.
Welcome everyone listening in on Aftermath FM. We are live. Welcome to Slow News Day. My name is Steve Poikin and it is motherfucking Halloween. I am joined by my better than your co-host Glory Jones. What's happening, Jones? How you doing?
I'm doing good.
And I think we're up live on every other platform too. We are hoping to be joined here very soon by Spike Cohen. We sent him the link about a month ago, so hopefully it'll resonate. That's what they asked for. That's what we did. Let me run through the business real quick. The show is brought to you by Matrix Bars. That's a QR code that I just put up on the screen right there above Miss Glory Jones. You can scan that and meet the White Rabbit, who will tell you all about the delicious 3.5 gram mushroom chocolate bars that you can own for your very self and gobble up and go see some shit. They're absolutely delicious. They do what they're advertised to do, which is rare these days. Only reason we fuck with them is because they work. If you're curious, if you wanted to get on a microdose regimen, if you want to macro dose, but you've been kind of put off by the taste, really yummy chocolate is an excellent delivery system. So go ahead and do that. You can scan the QR code, or you can DM them on Twitter or Instagram at Matrix Genetics, MatrixGenetix. Show is entirely viewer supported. Still experiencing bank fuckery Currently, the only ways that you can donate to the show right now are Cashapp, which is at Slow News Day Show, or you can buy Sleepy Josh coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Bort, BORT. And with that, I think that's the quickest we've ever got through this shit. So awesome. Happy for that. I am, yeah, dude, my truck's still fucked, but I was able to limp it a few hours down the road. Now I'm back in the Santa Cruz Mountains for a day or two, where I have a shade tree mechanic, and I could pick up a couple of bucks. So anyway, how's it going, Jones?
It's going.
Today,
Yeah.
the part of Chad Wilson will be played by Glory Jones.
Yeah.
That's a deep cut for the Slow News Day audience who's been with us for a while. If you're like scratching your head over that, it's okay. You know, don't worry about it.
There's few people that'll understand that reference. But yeah. Because it's Halloween, so I decided to be extra. And of the main, I was telling like Steve and Josh this, of the mainstream holidays there are, Halloween is probably my favorite, because I mean, okay, we'll go like Easter. Yeah, okay, sure. Like put on some Kirk Franklin, jam out to that for a bit, and then like it's over. Okay, throw some Easter eggs at people that say free Assange at them. Okay, and then what's after that? 4th of July, really? Independence Day, please. The only thing that holiday is good for is protesting. And then I'm going down the line, and then hey, Halloween, you know, dress up, have some fun, get fucking scary with your shit, watch some Godzilla movies, like, hey, okay, like Million Mask March in a week, like, okay, is gas. And then Thanksgiving is actually pretty cool. Okay, the history behind it, shite, but like food, friends, family, if you don't, you know, and then obviously I'm biased because Jamaican food, friends, family. Yeah. And then Christmas. How do I fuck Christmas?
Can die in a fire.
Yeah, fuck Christmas.
Christmas can die in a fire.
I actually don't like Christmas. Like even though I have no reason to hate Christmas personally, it's so disgustingly like hyper materialist, but on freaking candy cane sugar and a bum ass Santa Claus that's like, yeah, no. So that's what I got to say.
I hate Christmas so much. I really do. Everything about it. I'm a fucking humbug. I don't give a shit. I really don't. I don't care. I don't care if you do it. Don't drag me into it. And catch me in a store from until New Year's. Like, that's just not gonna happen. This officially begins. Day after tomorrow is like my boycott season of anything with fluorescent lights. No. I'm gonna hear fucking Christmas music if I walk into Safeway tomorrow, and that's gonna make me stab somebody. I don't want to do that. I don't.
Yeah, fuck Chris. And oh my god, fuck Christmas music. Fuck this. No. Christmas is almost here. Fuck Mariah Carey. I hate that song. I'm sorry. All I want for Christmas is you. I hate that song. It's so overplayed and over memed, and like it's oversaturated. I'm tired of hearing it. The only Christmas music I like is gospel, which isn't even really Christmas music. It's just gospel. But you can play it around Christmas, and I can get away with playing it because I can be like, hey, Jesus in that, like Jesus's birthday in that, and be like, okay, at least I can jam out to some good gospel on Christmas. But other than that fucking Christmas shit, like it's trash. There's maybe like 2 good ones.
There's one good thing about Christmas, and that's we get to see little Dan Crenshaw before he got his eye shot out.
That's true. And if it wasn't for A Christmas Story and the tragic incident therein, Dan Crenshaw would not be a congressman. I don't know. Um, at any rate, I saw this. I have no idea what's up with Spike. I saw this. Adam Curry, the Podfather, tweeted this out. I think yesterday, and it made me. It made a lot of things go click. You know what I mean? Um. So this is from the Pew Research Center.
Real quick, just want to say, Sleepy J, Gordon misses you.
Oh, it's true. It's true. Yeah, I had a great conversation with Gordon Dimmick the other morning. He did
Tried to wake up and I just felt like shit and had to go back to sleep. So I apologize.
It happens. Yeah, but Gordon did say that he loves and misses you and wishes that he had his very own Sleepy Josh.
Well, I miss Gordon too.
So this Pew Research Center put this out a couple of months ago. It's the newspaper fact sheet in the state of the news media. The estimated total U.S. daily newspaper circulation, print and digital combined, in 2020 was 24.3 million for weekday and 25.8 million for Sunday, each down 6% from the previous year. This is what's happening to newspaper readership, traditional print media, and their online, sort of limited hangout shit shows. What this shows is that we are now, like, with overall newspaper circulation and actual readership, this is where we're at today. The average monthly unique visitors at the end of last year was just under 14 million people. Now, what this says to me is that the reason we've been experiencing so much rampant YouTube censorship, the reason that we've seen the corporatization of the digital media space, the reason that we get demonetized, the reason that we get deplatformed and our friends get deplatformed, is because corporate news is losing, and losing on every fucking single front. 15 million people reading circulated print media is abso-fucking-lutely nothing. Like, that's barely the Beltway bubble and their affiliated hanger-ons. That's fucking no one. The fear that these people must be experiencing for losing their narrative, dude, it's got to be all-encompassing at this point. And I'm here for it. I just want to say, I'm fucking here for it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do want to say hey to every.
Sucks.
You what? Who? Huh?
The censorship all sucks. It does.
Well, and I mean, it's what I'm saying is it's a testament to the fact that they're clearly losing the narrative battle in the digital space.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like the internet there for a while sort of got away from the narrative managers, and they've been doing everything possible in the last few years to try and, clamp down on it and make it a filter verse of nothing but talking points.
Yeah. All right. What were you gonna say after that?
Oh, I have no idea, dude. I'm just winging it this morning.
Okay, well, I wanted to wait until Spike was on to bring this up, but okay, his last tweet, let me pull it up here. He had this tweet, and I've been wanting to kind of delve into this. I don't know how YouTube friendly it is, but I've been wanting to delve into this topic for a bit now because, obviously we know cops, the piggies, they are, at the end of the day, they're just stormtroopers. They're just tools. So they're still subject to the jab mandates. So this is something I wanted to wait for Spike to come on, but he had this tweet Is it showing or okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, I will admit I didn't expect to see so many police protesting these vaccine mandates. I still doubt that they will, as a group, be allies in this fight long term. If I'm wrong about that, enforcement will become essentially impossible. So I hope I'm wrong about it. And yeah, that's what I've been because this tweet prompted like that whole thing. I've wanted to discuss this whole thing of like, especially with the NYPD and and like I think Seattle PD too, not LAPD yet, of course, because they're the worst. But yeah, I'm seeing like, and this is something I'm going to center like America. Sorry, because we kind of have bitch ass cops. But yeah, so what I wanted to really delve into was this whole thing of like police across the country quitting their jobs and protesting because of vaccine mandates. But the thing is, I'm like almost torn on it because the way I see it is it's like I have always been 100% in favor of cops quitting their jobs or being fired because I believe
For any reason.
Once you shed that uniform, you can essentially begin to like regain your humanity again. And I think it's objectively a good thing that cops are losing their jobs. I'm sorry. Like, obviously it sucks for their families, but I mean, for the good of humanity, I'm not really too annoyed that they're not cops anymore. But the thing is I'm still against vaccine mandates. But it's like, I also wanted to get into that thing of like, how effective do we think that like just like newly quitted, or how would you say, like cops that just quitted their jobs the other day, like how effective as allies would they be in the long term? Because the thing is I think of that Seattle PD video. I think it was Seattle. I'm not sure, where they were like feeding the homeless with the firefighters. Like they were fucking stomping on the homeless literally 48 hours ago. But then the moment that they stop, it's like, okay, now they're actually serving the community. I mean, how are we going to believe that when they regain an ounce of power again, that they're not just going to turn against us?
Well, it's not their power to begin with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The power is derived from the state's monopoly on violence and the badge. That's where the power is derived from. You take that away, you can find like combat trained and capable in a number of other fields individuals. But when you strip away the power that comes with that monopoly on violence, they're just fucking people. And if they're losing their job over it, if they're not losing, but if they're making a choice to walk away from that career over this, then it wasn't about the career in the first place. You know what I mean? Like if your convictions supersede your need for immediate survival, then I've got more confidence in you. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. It's really tough to say. The thing I just pulled up while you were talking was the Chicago Fraternal Order of Police protesting vaccine mandates, and a judge saying that he's going to rule this coming week on whether or not to allow the injunction. Now, these injunctions haven't really gone much of anywhere, which is incredibly disturbing because it means that the judiciary is blind to data and only listening to talking points. The data is suggesting that the gene therapy doesn't work as marketed, that boosters are going to become indefinite, and that they don't have any explanation for it, nor are they trying to offer one. If that's where we're at with something that has a 99.6 to 99.99% survival rate, negligible down to zero from like with the cohorts of 28 to newborn, there's no real reason to reorganize society over that. None. So the fact that they're trying to is starting to become clear that this is not about your health. I think more and more people are starting to realize that it's not about your health. Even fucking Bill Maher, for like as out of touch and just horrific as the guy normally is, has seen through this shit. And it's his job to push this crap. It's his job to eventually bring you back around to supporting whatever the Biden administration does.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one thing that they went wrong with in this agenda, was by targeting people's individual bodily autonomy. They're going to awaken a sect of the population that's typically, selfish. But the problem with that as well that I'm seeing, and this is coming purely from my observations on the ground, so I'm not just pulling this out of nowhere. The problem that I'm seeing is that by threatening people's individual bodily autonomy and getting advocates for individual freedom, you're also attracting people that are a bit selfish and assholes, to be quite frank, because on the ground in LA, this is just something. I can't speak to right-wing activists across the rest of the world, but right-wing activists are pretty assholes. They're kind of assholes. like the left has a gatekeeping problem, the right has an asshole problem. And yeah, I think that's one of the things that's kind of like a more sinister tactic, is because by attracting the assholes and making the assholes at the forefront of this, you're driving people away, which isn't the case for most places, which makes me happy. It's just the case for Los Angeles. So, because that's honestly the state of things in Los Angeles. And I think that gets back to like the role that cops play in this, because not to paint all men in uniform with the same
Fuck
brush.
cop.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah. Fuck 12. I mean, like, a lot of them are pretty fucking racist assholes that want a power trip. So and like, unfortunately, the power trip part, that might change once they'll have a jab mandate imposed on them. But the racist asshole part, that unfortunately doesn't change, and I think that's going to determine how solid of like allies they can be as a collective in this fight.
Well, I think that I think that the collapse of the empire and the totalitarian reorganization of society should provide an opportunity for people to sort of realign their priorities. I don't understand the mentality that makes somebody become a cop. I don't. The way that it's best been described to me, it's that it's either bullies or people who were bullied. And like, I get that. I do. I think it's also the number one job for PTSD as fuck veterans who just kind of have this, war zone to urban war zone pipeline. And that ain't fucking helping either. I think we should abolish the police entirely, but I also think we should abolish the state entirely. So my argument is going to be coming from that perspective to begin with.
Right.
You're never going to find me defending cops because I don't recognize the institution that allows them to exist in the first place. You know, I could look at a situation and apply nuance to it and try to understand it. But at the end of the day, I want this entire organization to be dissolved in a fucking 55-gallon metal drum with like boric acid and fucking anything else you can pour on it. You know what I mean? That's ultimately that's where I'm gonna land. However, if we can get anybody from any profession, especially those that are considered like first responders or frontline or essential workers, any of that bullshit, to at least recognize what's going on in the moment and say, this is bullshit. We need to stop it. I'm not going to comply. In the moment, that's enough. In the moment. Like I keep coming back to this, man. The reward for stopping the fucking tyranny is figuring out what we get to do next. And assuming that we've got to have a completely, you know, healed and realigned, I don't know, police force or former police force or whatever. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know if we're ever going to get that. But what we might be able to get is a shift in priorities where stuff like beating the hell out of the black community because you're in their neighborhood and it sounds like a good idea is no longer at the top of your to-do list.
Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty fair assessment. Yeah. It's like, because every time, and that's why, shout out to the firefighters. Fucking love y'all. I mean, it's like, you know, don't have the same problem with firefighters that I do with cops. So it's calm. And then, I mean, it reminds me of how in France, when the Yellow Vest protest first popped off, we got to see the showdowns between like the riot cops and the firefighters, and they were like beating the shit out of them. And I was like, yeah. So yeah, it reminded me of that. But I mean, I think the contributions in the immediate short term to, you know, to the cause by the first responders can be valuable. But I mean, you know, it's also like, I mean, you guys know how I am at protests. Like, anytime there's a cop, I'm like, quit your job. So yeah, that's kind of it. It's so hard too, because I'll be at like these kind of, you know, I won't call them right wing, but like anti-mandate events that have a fair population of right wing organizers. And I'll be like, okay, do I want to cause a stir and tell those cops over there to quit their jobs? All right, I'll wait. But it's fun because at least since the cops are wearing masks, like I can get the organizers to be like, you look so cocked in your mask, bro. And then like the sheriff will drive by like wearing a mask in their car, and I'll be like, hey guys, make fun of them. And they're like, take your mask off, you cuck. And I'm like, yes. So yeah. I'm not sure what happened to Spike, but yeah, I don't know. I was enjoying this conversation though. But
sorry, I was trying to get a message over to Spike. I emailed his like assistant or the guy that had me send him the link like a month ago. I don't know. Whatever. Kind of in the same vein. And certainly because nobody ever wrote a song called Fuck the Fire Department. Ice Cube.
You're not going to play more Mises again, are you? Oh,
I'm not. No.
I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
So Ice Cube caught a little bit of flack because he walked away from a $9 million picture deal on a movie called Oh Hell No. Because he doesn't want to show proof of shooting up with an experimental drug. Ice Cube has departed Sony's upcoming comedy, Oh Hell No, in which he would have co-starred with Jack Black after declining a request from producers to get vaccinated, sources tell The Hollywood Reporter. I love this. Sony had no comment. Personal representative for the star declined to comment. WME, his agency, declined to comment. Oh Hell No is being produced by Matt Tolmach and Black, who both did not offer a comment. Ice Cube and Black partnered on the project in June. The Sony film was looking to shoot this winter in Hawaii with Kitao Sakuri, the filmmaker behind Netflix's breakout comedy Bad Trip, in the director's seat. Oh Hell No made the request that the cast on the project would need to get vaccinated. The film is pushing back its production start. Jack Black injured himself while filming a gag for the last episode of Conan, but is still attached to the project. Sources tell The Hollywood Reporter the studio is looking to find a replacement for Ice Cube, who walked away from a $9 million payday. Throughout the pandemic, Ice Cube has promoted mask wearing. In August, Bacone College in Oklahoma thanked the star and others for donations of 2,000 face masks to use as personal protective equipment. In April 2020, amid COVID-19 lockdowns, he unveiled Check Yourself Before You Wreck Yourself branded t-shirts featuring the star in a mask in partnership with the manufacturer Blackout, with proceeds to benefit frontline healthcare workers. Sony's Oh Hell No is the second project that Ice Cube has left in recent months. The rapper turned actor was to have co-starred in a boxing movie, Flint Strong, but is no longer involved. It's unclear what circumstances prompted the departure. Okay. Vaccination among cast and crew in Hollywood has become an issue on multiple projects. An agreement between guilds and studios unveiled in July states producers will have an option to implement mandatory vaccination for policies for cast and crew in Zone A, where cast and crew work in close proximity, or on a production by production basis. Go Ice Cube.
Yeah. I mean, it's it's kind of like, I feel like it reminds me of the Nicki Minaj sorry. It reminds me of the Nicki Minaj thing where basically she was very much like still buying everything with COVID, with the masks and such, and saying that like, hey, I might even get the vaccine, but like, you know, I'm entitled to my privacy, and I'm entitled to my time to do more research. So it's kind of like that situation in the sense that, like, I guess you have a celebrity that seemed to be fence-sitting before, but is now clearly falling on the other side of the anti-mandate fence because of just the violation of privacy and bodily autonomy that's happening.
And look, man, like personally, I think the masks are kind of bullshit. Unless it's like the N95, and even then it's not guaranteed kind of thing. We know that cloth masks are essentially useless. We know that the paper masks on the box say don't protect against COVID-19. Like, I honestly don't care if it's a fashion choice for you or whatever. Don't shame me for it. Like, do you? And if you think you're protecting yourself by putting on, a freaking face diaper, okay. But I mean, at least when it comes down to no jab, no job, Ice Cube goes, okay, I can get another job.
Yeah.
Yourself.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, you know, my body, my choice. Like, whatever your decision is, I'm not going to interfere with it. And then likewise, it goes the other way around. But, you know, I do want you to understand that those surgical masks have microplastics that are harmful for the environment, and they're polluting the ocean. So just want to point that out there.
Wow. We just got a super ray. We got a super ray a minute ago from John Newell. This is wild. Just hung out with two friends who are now teachers at the high school we went to, self-described far left. I was careful in my approach, but I brought up the current activities of the WEF and their affiliates, even showed them articles, and they still started asking me if I thought the earth was flat. John, what you tell them is that flat isn't necessarily the correct term. It's more of a firmament and a dome.
Oh my God, Steve. Oh my God. You know what? I don't know what it is with the resurgence of like flat eartherism as a part of this, because it shows how like there's a connection being made between trying to stigmatize alternative thought in general. Because the amount of times that I've been like, skeptical of this, just like purely skeptical of this narrative, and someone will tell me like, oh, well, I guess you're a flat earther too then. Like, really? What does flat earth have to do with this conversation? You're just making the association because you don't like alternative thought in general, and that's how the propagandas work. And also, how the hell is a flat earther going to harm you in any way, shape, or form? Like, how is believing that the moon landing footage is bullshit, and how does believing that the earth is flat, or how does believing that there was a great mudslide that wiped out an entire ancient civilization, like, how are these theories going to harm people in any way, shape, or form?
Do you remember when Jared Beck was on the show last and he was like, go watch that Sage of K 5-hour-long presentation on mud floods and flat earth? And so I did, and I watched it with Kendra. Yeah, dude. It's fucking wild. Like, you have to watch that shit. You do. You have to watch it. You're just like, hey, wait a minute. I did... Really? It's fucking wild, dude. It is. I promise, the guy's voice is a bit much. It is. It's this like performative Welsh droll. Like, it would ordinarily be quite lovely, but because he's punching it up, performatively, it's a little over the top. But wow, dude. Wow. He makes a pretty good case. Not necessarily. You don't even have to be like walk away from that going 100%. The Earth is flat, and we had a mud flood, and there were Tartarian giants that walked among it. Like, you don't have to. That's not. But you would at least walk away from that going, man, I got a lot of questions. Hopefully you would be.
But
there's so much that just doesn't make
that kind of stuff, though. It's so fun to explore the history behind like megalithic structures, and like, I don't want to doubt like human achievements. Like, I don't want to believe that just like, just because white people didn't build it doesn't mean people didn't build it. But like, humanity in general, it seems, quite, either quite amazing or quite unbelievable for them to be able to, manifest these certain structures. So I love to go into the real history behind it. Just saying.
Here's the thing: if you've got a structure like the Kremlin, right, and St. Peter's and Red Square, all of that shit, from material that is non-native to the population at a scale which belies the technology of the era, where you've got people who are retrofitting these structures to fit humans, even though they weren't originally necessarily designed to. Like, in all of these castles and all of these monster structures throughout Europe and the world, really, at no point was there any mechanism in place until like humans, let's say, inherited them for heat or water or waste or anything like that. They're just giant stone structures with non-native stone cut to laser-like precision, able to stand the test of time for millennia. And we can't reproduce the technology. In fact, the world's best architects can't reproduce what they call like Gothic and Neo-Gothic structures. They can't. They don't know how. It's a little weird. It is. It's a little weird.
I know that architecture is so awesome.
Oh
Oh
my
my
God.
God. I wish I knew more about the government of like Uzbekistan because they have some brilliant and beautiful architecture, but like I'm pretty sure like the stands in Central Asia are like pretty repressive countries, but oh my God, because it was like along the Silk Road, you know? So it's like all the cultural diffusion coming together to make some beautiful, beautiful architecture. Yeah, I'll show y'all one right now. As long as we're gonna get into amazing architecture here.
Oh,
But
I
like,
mean,
yeah,
I have a feeling that we're freestyling for most of the show, Jones. I do. I do.
hey, it's Halloween. We can get wacky here.
It's spooky. I'm not sure how much of the show we could actually do on YouTube though. Like we may want to hop on over to Rockfin here soon. I do want to talk about this because this is a story that nice.
Yeah.
This is a story that I covered on the morning show. I can't even remember what day it was. I had Magnus and Clint from Liberty Lockdown on, and we were supposed to be talking about Janet Yellen, the IRS, and they had just backed down from the $600 thing, but they just announced we're going after unrealized capital gains. Unrealized capital gains being money you haven't technically made yet and don't hold. And while we were in the live chat, somebody threw me a link about Joe Biden's nominee for the office of the comptroller of the currency, the person who is effectively in charge of all of the United States' money. And turns out she's interesting. I don't have the original article up. This article is the most recent one I could find on her because somebody on Twitter had tagged me about it and was like, "Hey, is there any update about this?" Sole Omarova could be the next Biden nominee to go down with the banking committee reluctant to support her. So it looks like it's possible this woman will lose her nomination in the banking committee before she actually gets it to a Senate vote. Quickly, Omarova was a graduate of Moscow State University, wrote her thesis on Marxian economics, and 2 years later moved to the U.S. and now is nominated to run Joe Biden's currency department. I want to let's see if I can find the yeah, here we go. This will be the original article that we got in the chat, just so I can go back over what her paper in the Vanderbilt Law Review titled "The People's Ledger: How to Democratize Money and Finance the Economy" touches on. So, point one, let me make this a little bit bigger. Here we go. Moving all commercial bank deposits from commercial banks to so-called Fed accounts at the Federal Reserve, allowing the Fed in extreme and rare circumstances when the Fed is unable to control inflation by raising interest rates to confiscate deposits from the Fed accounts in order to tighten monetary policy. No more commercial banks, only federal banks. And federal banks can pull money out of the currency in order to tighten monetary policy. They can take away it. Number three, allowing the most Wall Street conflicted regional Fed bank in the country, the New York Fed, when there are rises in market value rates suggestive of a bubble trend, such as with technology stocks today or cryptocurrency or NFTs, to short these securities, thereby putting downward pressure on their prices. They never want to see another AMC ever again. They never want to see regular people getting together, banding together in a fucking Discord server to take down Wall Street. Never again. Let's see. Eliminate the FDIC that ensures bank deposits. There are actually probably more positives to that than there are negatives, and we can get into some of those. But the fifth one is consolidate all bank regulatory functions at the OCC, which Omarova has been nominated to head. The entire banking regulatory process would then be transmitted to but one agency.
Yeah. Well, at least it looks like she won't have the easiest path to nomination and getting that cabinet position. But yeah, I mean,
Well, this is coming at a time when BlackRock and Vanguard, Berkshire Hathaway are buying up all of the available houses, all of the available land. BlackRock funds like a third of the Fed.
yeah.
When we sit here on the show and we talk about how the money never leaves the room, this is exactly what we mean. The money's never going to leave the room. The fucking federal government will have all of it. You will own nothing and be happy. Everything you use, you will rent, and it will be delivered to you by drone.
Yeah. It's just, yeah. I mean,
I gotta hop up real quick, Jones. Can you riff for a minute?
I can, because I actually just got a notification about this. So, as y'all know, I am quite a fan, if you could say, of football and, you know, technically soccer, as Americans would call it, but football. So I got this notification, and this is something that just came up, but basically, let me pull up an article real quick. There is a football team in La Liga called Barcelona. That's where like Messi would play at one point. They had Messi and Neymar and Iniesta and all of them, and they were almost as good as Real Madrid. Just saying. But yeah, hey, Hamza. No. None of that. We're not having that. We won our last game, by the way, against Tottenham, and it was beautiful. Did you see that Cavani goal? Okay, I'm getting off topic here, but basically, this is Sergio Aguero, who's like a top defender. He got taken to the hospital after experiencing a chest pain in the game, and then like this is something that doesn't normally happen. Like normally when athletes have heart problems mid-game and they have to be taken away, like it's a big deal, but in this instance it's not getting much attention because he has to go in for a cardiac exam, which is real concerning because these are athletes in their prime. Oh fuck, I mixed him up with fucking PK. I'm so sorry, Hamza. Yeah, he's a striker. My bad. I mixed him up with PK. But yeah, Sergio Aguero is a striker, but regardless, he's in great shape and he shouldn't be having heart problems, which but I mean other athletes are also having problems with their heart as well following getting experimental drugs, not specifying which ones. But yeah. Not saying it's that, J-Mo, but just saying, this shit normally doesn't happen. Steve, you're trying to talk, but you're muted.
There's not a lot of other things that you could really point to, though. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? I did see, you know what, we probably should just go ahead and jump over.
We're like 45 minutes in. We can do that. Let me get a link.
Okay, cool. Because I need to need to pull up a handful of tweets and maybe a couple of clips too.
Hey, our lovely chatters over on the FedTube. If you look in the chat, you can see a link to the Rockfin. We are going to hop over there to continue this conversation. So, you want to hear the rest of it, which you do, because there's more coming, then hop on over to the Rocofino and you'll hear more of us talk for,
there's that. You don't need a Rockfin account to watch the stream. Just click the link in the chat. If you want to participate in the chat over on the Rockfin, then you can make a free account if you love what we do and you would like to support the show. It's $9.99 a month. You get all of the paywalled content on the network. You get every episode of Memory Hold early. And it's a great way to support your favorite content creators. So if you're watching us on the YouTube, why? I mean, they censor us. It's bullshit. Please check us out on all of the other platforms that we're on, including Odyssey and DLive, and I think we're streaming on Twitter. I have no idea what happened to our Twitch channel. I don't know. I don't know. No clue. Haven't checked. Not really concerned. At any rate, link is in the chat. We will see you over on the Rockfin, and thanks for hanging out over on the YouTube.